Chesapeake, Virginia, 1650 AM WHKT presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick and at GJBTV.com. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
All right, thank you very much, Ken Johnson with JD. This is Greg Bicouvaris. Glad you're with us right here for Sports Scene on this last day of November 30th. Sports Scene is an interview show each Wednesday, noon to 1. Also, sports highlights on nnpstv.com. Hope everybody had a wonderful and safe Thanksgiving as we move to the Christmas holidays. Tell your friends about 1650. Twitter, at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at GJBTV, at HR Online Malcom, and WHKT AM 1650. My background is on GJBTV.com, including my radio and TV background. Thank you to our military, our great guest lineup as well. Sponsors on GJBTV.com homepage and marketplace sponsors. Guest lineup presented by Mi Casita Mexican Restaurant with 2 great locations in Virginia Beach. You can see all the great restaurants on Hampton Roads, onlinemall.com. Phone line presented by Mi Hogar with locations in Norfolk and Chesapeake, your place for Mexican food. Sponsors in November, Spaghetti-Etties, Newcastle, Crawl Space, and Mi Hogar. Kudos to Richmond in the FCS playoffs. Also to Old Dominion for going bowling in the Bahamas during bowl season. Congratulations to them as well and Bobby Wilder. Redskins need to get back on track at Arizona this weekend. They lost to the Cowboys. And, of course, the NFC East turning out to be a really, really good division. We have a lot to talk about, of course, including my top 5 things for you to do during the holidays in Hampton Roads and some of my food ideas as well. So we talk a lot of sports, of course, on Sports Scene, but we talk a lot more as well. Right here on News Talk 1650 on the AM dial, tunein.com, type in WHKT where you can follow and subscribe. Tunein.com, type in WHKT, subscribe to Sports Scene for free. We'll be back after these messages.
U.S. Rare Coins is Newcastle Coins and Collectibles in Chesapeake. They specialize in U.S. and silver and gold coins and provide free verbal offers and are always buying U.S. Rare Coins. Newcastle Coins and Collectibles, 681 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake, across from Chesapeake General, open Tuesday through Saturday and always online at newcastlecollectibles.com. Call 757-609-3633, 757-609-3633 for Newcastle Coins and Collectibles.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet. Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
People in Chesapeake and Hampton Roads have come to expect the finest Italian food at Spaghetti-Etties. In addition to great lunch and dinner served daily, this fine establishment caters to and can host your party. Call 484-7301 for their Taylor Road location and call 410-5500 for their restaurant in Greenbrier. For more, log on to SpaghettiEttiesPizzaCafe.com.
Catch up on archived editions of Sports Scene by going to gjbtv.com and clicking the YouTube image on the homepage. Now back to Sports Scene on 1650 AM and tunein.com.
And welcome back to Sports Scene right here on News Talk 1650, at Greg Bick on Twitter, tunein.com by typing in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer. Well, as a lot of you know, I work as a stage manager a lot for ESPN, CBS, Fox, just to name a few, and of course had the pleasure this past weekend of working the Richmond football game in the FCS playoffs as they took on North Carolina A&T and won in advance. And the person doing the color commentary, none other than the former assistant coach at Michigan Tech, Eastern Michigan, ironically who Old Dominion's playing in the Popeyes Bowl, Ball State, Wisconsin, head coach at Montana State, assistant with Tampa Bay, also head coach at Rutgers, Frankfurt Galaxy, assistant with the Jets and Ball State, none other than Doug Graber. Doug, how are you, my friend?
Greg, I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, very well. And, of course, you got some Virginia Beach roots. Why don't you go ahead and talk about that first?
Well, okay, I'm ready to start my next gig, which is honestly my favorite TV gig, and that is the Pop Warner Super Bowl tournament at the Wide World of Sports in Disney. And that starts Friday. They bring in 64 of the top teams around the well, they have to qualify. It's a tournament. They all have to win to get there. And I'll tell you that the Virginia Beach Mustangs, that Pop Warner program right up there, they are every single year. At least 2 or 3 of those teams seem to make it all the way to the finals here for the Super Bowl. And boy, I tell you, they are well coached. I'm amazed. And you know, a lot of those teams, Greg, they run the single wing, which is really fun to watch. It really is. So I always enjoy that.
We're talking to Doug Graber, the former head football coach at Rutgers, and they're lucky to have you, Doug. I mean, you've coached at the NFL level, the collegiate level, the overseas level. Is the game of football changed a lot since, let's say, back when you were an assistant at Wisconsin?
Wow, boy, has it ever. I mean, it's a different game. The speed of the game has changed dramatically. You know, everybody talks about the size of the players, but no, it's the speed that the game is played. And it's incredible, the difference. And, of course, the spread offense has had a huge, huge impact on football on every single level. And, again, the spread offense is all about spreading the field and putting more speed on the field. And, boy, it certainly has done that.
Big news here locally, Doug. Old Dominion, which is in Conference USA, is making their first bowl game. And people sometimes get tired of all the bowls, but for a school like Old Dominion, which is still very new, played in the CA for a while now, Conference USA, just got invited to the Popeyes Bowl, and they're playing one of your former schools, Eastern Michigan. I know you coached there a long time ago, but what are your thoughts, on Eastern Michigan? I don't know if you still follow them, and Old Dominion. That's Bobby Wilder's done a really good job.
Well, absolutely, and Eastern Michigan is a tough job. I mean, it really is. If all the places I've coached, I would say that might be the toughest place to win consistently of any of them. And boy, they have made a miraculous turnaround, and of course beat Central Michigan last week to get into this bowl game. And they've done a great job, and I know Old Dominion it's kind of cool because it's one program that's been down for a long, long, long time, and another program that has rapidly risen here recently, and I think that's a great matchup.
Mm-hmm. Talking to Doug Graber, the former head football coach at Rutgers right here. Doug, I got to ask you, too, because you coached against a lot of iconic coaches. You work with a lot of iconic coaches, both in college and the NFL. But, two, I want to ask you about, because I really value your opinion. You coached against Frank Beamer, who, of course, retired last year at Virginia Tech. His team is doing very well. They'll take on Clemson in the ACC championship. And the late Joe Paterno. Your thoughts on both those men, what they meant to football?
Well, starting with Frank Beamer, and I really applaud, Virginia Tech and Frank for that long association at Virginia Tech. And I think, there was a time early in Frank's career where he had a couple of tough years back to back, and they had the patience to stick with him. And he's a good man. He's a great man. And they had the patience to stick with him and let him continue to build that program. And it's just been a fabulous thing to watch. And I love Frank Beamer. I think he's a great human being, and I count him as a friend. And I think that the job and the relationship that he had with Virginia Tech was just special. Joe Paterno, again, it's very tough for me to talk about in some respects because his reputation has really been hurt by the recent happenings at Penn State. But Joe Paterno was an iconic guy, boy, and Joe, I think, had his priorities in order. I really think he was innocent in the things that came about, unfortunately, there. And I know one thing, the players that played for Joe all loved him, and that says everything about the man. And he had the right things in order in terms of what he wanted, in terms of his players graduating, in terms of his players being good citizens, and he wouldn't hesitate to do the things that he thought were correct for that program. So, you're right, iconic figures.
Right, you had some great matchups against Beamer. One time you guys played them, I think it was 99 points combined back in 92. You beat Virginia Tech 50-49, but every time you played Beamer back in the 90s, it was always high scoring.
Hey, I got a funny story about that. The first time we played Virginia Tech, it's one of the greatest, they say, one of the greatest games in college football history. It was at Rutgers. It was Halloween. And we scored 28 points. They had us way down. We scored 28 points in the fourth quarter and scored on the last play of the game to win 50-49. And the next year, of course, we were in Blacksburg, and Frank and I were talking before the game. And I said, Frank, if this game is 50-49, we both should be fired. Well, they were leading us 49-42, and we were driving the field in Virginia Tech territory at the end of the game. And unfortunately, for us at least, on a fourth down play, we didn't make it. But it could have been the identical score. So it just, and I'll tell you, boy, Virginia Tech, a tough place to play. It really was.
And I was talking to you about that on Saturday when I worked with you at the Richmond game. What are your thoughts, Doug, about Rutgers today being in the Big Ten? Is it a good fit? I mean, they're a Northeast school. For a while, they were a basketball school. You really put them on the map in football in the 90s. Are they a good fit against Ohio State, Michigan, schools like that, Wisconsin? You've been at Wisconsin as well. I mean, do you think Rutgers deserves to be in the Big Ten? Is that a good fit, or is that about TV mostly?
Well, you're right. Certainly, TV plays a big part of it. If Rutgers were a little bit more competitive, I think nobody would question it. Let's just talk about what it's meant to Rutgers. First of all, I'm not sure exactly what's transpired attendance-wise this year, but the year before they sold out every single game. The seats like 60,000, so the attendance has been great. Obviously, financially for the university, it's been great. Can they compete in the Big Ten? I absolutely think they can. It's just kind of amazing. Rutgers is the enemy themselves, and it's always been that way. It's a very political place, and it just seems like the administratively and everything else, they kind of find a way to screw things up. And, they fired an athletic director that I thought never should have been fired, and Tim Pernetti, and who I really felt had it going in the right direction. And they've been through a couple changes since. But I absolutely think, Greg, that if Rutgers could get all of the oars in the water together at the same time, I know that they could compete in the Big Ten. There's just so many great athletes in Jersey, and we certainly got our share of them when I was there. But I really do think they can compete in the Big Ten, and that they're just in a really down trend right now.
Talking to former Rutgers coach Doug Graber, head coach there, as well as an assistant at several different college and pro teams. And before we talk about the top 7 in the college playoffs and a little bit more about the FCS playoffs, did you ever talk to Bo about working at Michigan since you had Michigan roots? You were at Michigan Tech and Eastern Michigan. You were an assistant at Wisconsin right at the tail end of Woody Hayes' career, and of course, Arch Schleister was a quarterback. You had to try to stop him for 4 straight years. What a quarterback he was! And my dad and I, we had a chance to meet Woody before he passed away, and the one thing he said is, "Don't mention Schleister's name," because even though he was, a good quarterback at Ohio State, Woody, as you well know, was a running head coach, and of course Schleister, that kind of game against Clemson brought him down. But you played some iconic rivalries when you were at Wisconsin against, especially Michigan and Ohio State, against Bo and Woody and Earl Bruce for that matter.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I was very, very proud of what we were able to accomplish at Wisconsin. My last year there, we beat Michigan when they were ranked number 1 in the nation in the opening game of the season. And 3 weeks later, we beat Ohio State, and we beat both of them pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But, Coach Schembechler and Bo, I really respect both of them. I know I got to know Bo very well, and I had the kind of interesting thing happened. As you know, I worked for Dave McClain, who was a former Woody Hayes assistant. And with the terrible thing that happened at Clemson when they fired Woody Hayes, I was with Dave McClain recruiting in the state of Ohio the week after that happened. And we stopped by to see Coach Hayes. And, boy, I'll tell you what, if you don't think that wasn't a tough visit, both of them were tremendous speakers. Both were a little bit like Joe, in that they really the players loved them. Every player that played for those guys loved them. The players, when they come out of those programs, both those coaches pushed them to the limit, no question about that. But all those players and kids that played for those two guys knew that those guys loved them. That Bo and Woody loved the players, had the players' backs. Pushed them because they wanted to make them better, but there was a true love there. And I think sometimes in the sport of football today, we kind of miss that. I got a kick out of the comments of Bill Snyder that came out in the paper when he's concerned about the future of football and all the money involved. And he said, and I agree. He said, I'm making $3.1 million, and I'm not worth that.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you. Now they're talking about paying the new coach at Oregon $10 million, and this is absurd. And I'm not saying that with not bitter at all. I mean, I didn't make anywhere near that, and I didn't think I deserved what I was making way back then. So, it's just I think, and also the thing I don't like, Greg, is I think the money. And coaching now, I think we're getting some people involved in coaching that really aren't in it for the right reasons, if you know what I mean.
Sure. Talking to Doug Rayburn. Doug, too, you also coached, as an assistant at the NFL level with Tampa Bay and some other teams as well. And you see some of the players today celebrating so much. You grew up in the generation be seen and not heard. They want these big contracts, without even playing. One here was RG3, who's now playing for the Browns, who played for the Redskins. And, of course, a lot of these coaches like Saban and Meyer getting the big bucks, the players, even the assistants, the coordinators getting these big bucks. I kind of like the golf and tennis mentality where you're kind of a commission-based, do it on your performance, because I don't care what rookie it is, you can't gauge that Prescott for the Cowboys was going to go almost unblemished in his rookie year. Nobody really knows that. No pro expert, no Mel Kiper, nobody knew that.
Right. Yeah, it's just it's crazy. And Greg, one of the jobs I still have now, I work with very high draft choice players every year, preparing them for the combine and for the draft and for the NFL. And I work, with linebackers and defensive backs, and I really get the best kids in the country pretty much. I had 4 in the first round, 3 in the second, 4 in the third last year. The kids haven't changed. They work their butts off. But everything around them has changed. The agents, the money's involved, the distractions, social media is, and part of what I do is try to work with these kids to really develop them in terms of their media skills, in terms of not doing foolish things off the field, because with social media today, buddy, everybody knows it in 10 minutes. And but so it's a different world that we live in. We all know that.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Rams with Eric Dickerson, one of the iconic Rams players, and he's having issues now with the Rams front office, and that was all on social media. And then Fisher says, we get along fairly well. So a lot of that stuff, you kind of have to take with a grain of salt. But you're right, a lot of these kids or athletes that play, it's all about Twitter now and Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube. It's a great way to connect. Even this show with a TuneIn app is national and worldwide, but it's almost like too much. It's too much indulgence, and we need to think before we speak.
Yeah. Hey, Greg, you will never see me on Facebook, Twitter. And it's true. I say enough dumb things on my own.
Yeah.
Without doing a TV game, I certainly don't need to put something foolish on Twitter or Facebook or something like that. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Give us a memorable moment, college and NFL, that you and your wife still talk about today, whether you were a head coach or an assistant coach or overseas. You've had so many, but what do you and the kids and the wife kind of talk about Thanksgiving? Like, Doug, what do you remember about your time with Ball State, or what do you remember your time with the Jets?
I've had so many great experiences and memories, and I've been so blessed to have so many great young men that played for me. I still communicate with many of them, which I really enjoy. I'm going to surprise you, I think, a little bit here. Probably my favorite moment is winning the World Bowl in NFL Europe, and that was in 2003, and I'm going to tell you why. I was a head coach there for 3 years at Frankfurt Galaxy. And, of course, all the players, were off of NFL rosters. It was great football. And my poorest team that I had, is the team that won the World Bowl. And they were unique in the fact that they were just such great kids, and we had such great leadership on the team. And they had such a great work ethic. And they cared about each other so much. And when the game was, and all of the NFL games, I mean, most of them in NFL Europe was no different. They all come down to the final 5 minutes of the game, almost without question. And those kids just found a way to win. And by the end of the season, I mean, I really didn't think, I thought we had a bad team. We did have a bad team. We got killed in the preseason scrimmages and everything else. But, man, those kids, and they were smart, and those kids just found a way to win, and they were absolutely the most fun group of players I've ever, as a team, as a head coach, I've ever had in my life, and that was fun.
That sounds like it. I want to leave you with this. I want to get your thoughts. 4 of the 7 top teams in the college football playoff are Big Ten teams. Alabama's number 1, Ohio State 2, Clemson 3, Washington 4, Michigan 5, Wisconsin 6, Penn State is number 7. We talked about how big of a deal it is for Old Dominion to go against Eastern Michigan in a bowl game, but it almost seems like the college football playoffs, it's great. You got 4 teams that are going to make it, but a lot of these bowl games are really just television programming. It's great for the schools, but other than that, it just seems like the bowls itself get lost in the college football playoff. I guess you can't please everybody.
Well, you sure can't, and that's been the age-old question from way back. And having been involved in the FCS playoffs when I was the head coach at Montana State, I love the playoffs, and I wish there were a way financially and everything else to make it happen, but I still think at the FBS level that if somehow they could come up with a format of 16 or whatever number of teams and conference champions, much like the FCS does it, automatic qualifiers, I still think, honestly, that would be the best in the long run for college football. And, of course, to use the current bowls as part of that process. But that's a problem because, these bowls need 3 weeks to prepare. And, you're going week to week to week, and it just it doesn't work. So that's an issue. But I love the FCS playoffs, and I wish we had an expanded FBS playoff as well.
Doug, thanks for your time, your talent, and your treasure, enlightening us on your career and also what you're doing today. Good luck down at Disney World. It was truly a pleasure and an honor to work with you this past weekend, and I hope we can do this again soon.
Hey, Greg, I appreciate it, and thanks for having me on. I had a lot of fun. Thank you.
My pleasure. Doug Graber right there. What a true gentleman he is. Former head coach at Rutgers, assistant coach in the NFL. He also was at places like Wisconsin, as we mentioned, and, of course, the Jets. He really has seen it all in the world of football. He had a chance to commentate on ESPN3, the Richmond game this past weekend. We worked both together. What a true gentleman. Former Rutgers coach, former assistant with the Jets, Doug Graber. Of course, I want to tell you about Tokyo Grill and Buffet at 49 West Mercury Boulevard in Hampton. Great place for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. Right there in the Langley Square Shopping Center, they've got delicious buffets, seafood, hibachi, Chinese, Japanese, sushi, American food. They've got all types of fruit and dessert, too. They will fill you up totally. You got to go by there and see Bing and the staff at Tokyo Grill and Buffet. We'd like to welcome the men and women in uniform serving around the world, listening to today's broadcast of Sports Scene in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea on TuneIn.com by typing in WHKT. Thanks for all that you do. We hope you're enjoying today's version of Sports Scene right here on TuneIn.com. Remember, my Twitter handle is Greg Bick. Stay tuned. We'll be back after these messages.
The place to go for U.S. rare coins is Newcastle Coins and Collectibles in Chesapeake. They specialize in U.S. and silver and gold coins and provide free verbal offers and are always buying U.S. rare coins. Newcastle Coins and Collectibles, 681 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake, across from Chesapeake General, open Tuesday through Saturday and always online at newcastlecollectibles.com. Call 757-609-3633, 757-609-3633 for Newcastle Coins and Collectibles.
Hi, this is Greg Bicouvaris, inviting you to join me for Sports Scene live each Wednesday from noon to 1 right here on News Talk 1650 and TuneIn.com by typing WHKT in the search box. Excellent guests and interaction at Greg Bick on Twitter, all powered by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Sports Scene each Wednesday from noon to 1 right here on News Talk 1650. People in Chesapeake and Hampton Roads have come to expect the finest Italian food at Spaghetti-Eddie's. In addition to great lunch and dinner served daily, this fine establishment caters to and can host your party. Call 484-7301 for their Taylor Road location and call 410-5500 for their restaurant in Greenbrier. For more, log on to SpaghettiEddie'sPizzaCafe.com.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
Oh, yeah, this is the place where Washington Wizards basketball comes alive on the radio.
John Wall, edge of the circle, cuts to his right, splits the defenders, drives, 360 under the basket, makes it, scores!
Follow John Wall, the Wizards, all season long on their journey through the NBA.
Catch and shoot for three, it's there! It's there!
Check it on Twitter at Dave J Sports or at GC Talks. It is the hashtag radio party right here on your home for Washington Wizards basketball.
Listen on 1650 AM, The Answer.
Mi Hogar is your restaurant for the finest Mexican cuisine in Hampton Roads. At Mi Hogar, everything is prepared fresh in a casual atmosphere. Enjoy traditional favorites such as quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and fajitas, as well as refreshing beverages. Mi Hogar has 2 locations, 4201 Granby Street in Norfolk and 801 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Call ahead at 640-7705. At Mihogar, there is something for everyone.
Interact with Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick. Email the show, bicogb@hotmail.com. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris in the Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com studios. It's now time for Greg's Highlights, presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com.
And, of course, this show, you can be archived, gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link later this evening. And, of course, I was going to mention some of the things to do around the holiday season. The oceanfront, Virginia Beach, always nice, especially this warm weather, too. The Celebration and Lights in Newport News. The Opera in Norfolk is always a great place. The Virginia Stage Company's Christmas Carol. The Duke of Gloucester in Williamsburg, great place to walk around. Great place, restaurant is the Egg Bistro. And a food dish you might want to serve during the holidays, chicken livers. Try it with a little ranch. It would go a long, long way. Also want to welcome our good friends at Buffalo Wild Wings and Newport News, Paul Odette, the great staff. You give, you get. Buy $25 in holiday gift cards for use of a future visit. Get a blazing bonus worth up to $100 November 21st to December 31st. As well, you can't beat it. Buy $25 in holiday gift cards for use on a future visit. And, of course, get a blazing bonus worth up to $100 you cash in after January 1st. Buffalo Wild Wings and Newport News, the premier place to watch football, basketball, all the great sports, the bowl games, everything else, right there on Jefferson Avenue in Newport News, 12150 Jefferson Avenue. Great place, of course, for wings, beer, sports. They got great desserts as well. Go by and see Paul and Megan and the friendly staff over there. The best wings, the best sauces for wings, right there at Buffalo Wild Wings at the Patrick Henry Mall location in Newport News, the premier restaurant in Newport News as well is Buffalo Wild Wings. Well, we just mentioned as well before we get to our next guest, I want to thank this wonderful listener as well, Janice, who Joe Daniel, want to tell you about her too as well real quick. Went out of her way to go listen to our shows on Sports Scene, on Sports Highlights, Google. Really took the time, her talent and treasure, to do research on the show, unsolicited. I had no idea she did this, but she really enjoys the interviews, and she credited the internet for having it accessible when she wanted it, and it was really nice of a listener who I just met just to say that.
That's awesome.
You know, just took her time to go out of the way and Google and say thank you for what you do for the community.
So she emailed you.
Yeah, we got in touch. Her and I did, and just a great listener of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's very cool.
Yes. All right, we want to welcome a regular right here during the holiday season, Renee Popernack, talking about the 2016 holiday events. And, of course, one of the big ones, of course, is the 24th Annual Celebration of Lights. Renee, how are you?
Great.
It's a great time of the year. Let's talk about, first of all, with the Celebration of Lights. It's already started. Let's talk about it. 24 years.
Yes, and bigger and better every year. Every year we add more light displays, and it's just the perfect family event for the holidays.
It really has evolved every year, and I always try to tell people don't go too fast, because you might miss something. But it's just something on the right side, something on the left side, and sometimes there's lights right in the middle.
Yeah, and you actually drive through some of the displays because we have a lot of sections where we have lighted arches over the roadways, which gives you this great 3D effect. Very
good. So what can somebody for the first time driving through there in the Celebration Lights in Newport News expect to see?
You're going to see great holiday light displays, but more than that, we have light displays about the history of Newport News, with the founding of Jamestown and the Battle of the Monitor and Merrimack, which is very unique to Newport News. Of course, we have a Santa and snowmen, and it just really highlights the natural beauty of the park.
And really, too, Newport News Park is a crown jewel of Parks and Recreation. There's something to do there for families year-round.
Yeah, and actually this year we're celebrating our 50th anniversary of Newport News Park.
Mm-hmm. I remember when I was a kid, my grandmother used to always get involved with the event in the fall, your fall festival. What a really nice 2-day event that is, too. And really just people can do picnics. You can have kid activities. Really, there's park rangers out there. There's a visitors bureau. It really is nice for the northern part of Newport News.
Yeah, we have a lot of unique features like disc golf that you don't see everywhere. So there's something for everybody at Newport News Park.
Yes, of course. I know you're gearing up for the big weekend, and let's talk about what's going on with Holly Dazzle.
Yeah, Holly Dazzle this year, it's on a Saturday, and it's from 4 to 8 p.m. at City Center. And, of course, we have the best fireworks show that you're ever going to see. And the great part is you stand right up close. Everybody has a front row view, and it is truly spectacular.
Right. And, of course, for a while you did it on Friday nights. You moved it to Saturday. Is it because Friday is just too busy with rush hour traffic and stuff? And it seems like people are more relaxed on Saturdays as well.
People are definitely more relaxed on a Saturday. We heard that a lot of families, it was hard to get home from work and school and get the families together to get to City Center. So moving it to the Saturday made it a lot easier for families to come and enjoy it. We've also started earlier, which we were able to do moving to a Saturday.
All right, we're talking to Renee Popernack from Newport News Parks and Recreation, and really, you look at your 2016 holiday events list. I mean, there's something going on now through January. There's all types of events going on, whether it's the holiday frost celebration or breakfast with Santa, Christmas on the Monitor. I mean, there's really something for everyone.
And a lot of those events are free, too. So even if you don't have a lot of money to spend, there's plenty to do at Newport News.
Right. And, of course, now let's talk about parking. And admission, of course, is free for Holly Dazzle. But yes. Parking sometimes can be an issue. Why don't you tell the listeners about that?
Yeah, the City Center parking garages are open, but they will be filled probably by 2 o'clock, to be perfectly honest. But we have plenty of parking at Cannon, Virginia. They're one of our partners, and they offer free parking, and we have free shuttle bus back and forth between Cannon and City Center. And really, that's the easiest place to try to park for Holly Dazzle.
Yeah, that's an interesting night because there are people that are going to be going to dinner, going to a movie, going to the Marriott, and Holly Dazzle all at once. That's got to be, thank goodness for the Newport News Police Department.
Yes, and honestly, we work with the police all year round on parking plans and traffic plans, trying to get everybody in and out as safely as possible.
I want to get your thoughts, too. The city manager's done a really good job with the One City Marathon. That's really involved. That's Parks and Recreation at its best. You've got some of the best marathoners in the year every spring.
Yeah, that is growing every year, and the great thing last year is that we had a huge increase of children doing the fun run portion of it. Mm-hmm. So, even if you can't quite commit to the full marathon, there's other races and other events associated with the whole marathon weekend, so really everybody can take part.
All right, leave us again one more time. We got the Celebration of Lights going on right now. Just a wonderful, wonderful event at Newport News Park. The website is nnva.gov, and, of course, Holly Dazzle. But like you said, throughout the holiday season, there really is something going on all over Newport News.
Oh, it really is. And also, our tree that we light up for Holly Dazzle will be lit up every night throughout the holiday season through January 1st. So even if you can't make it to Holly Dazzle, you can still enjoy the great tree.
Where do you find that tree at?
That tree is located across from Aromas.
Okay.
At City Center, and this year that tree is sponsored by Larry King Law.
Very nice, very nice. All right. We gave out the website as well, and of course we look forward to the big event coming up this weekend with Holly Dazzle, and thank you for all that you do for the city of Newport News, and of course whether it's the 4th of July celebration or anything going on in Newport News, you really are right on top of it. I appreciate it, Renee.
Oh, thank you, and we invite everybody to come and enjoy the holidays in Newport News.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, Renee Popernack, and of course, Joe Daniel, you're looking at the website too, and I'm going to invite you as well to go do it with your family as well to go. What's really neat about it is you don't have to get out of your car to see Celebration of Lights.
You drive through it.
You just drive through
awesome.
it. The key is don't go too fast because you blink, you're going to miss some nice lights.
Right. I did something like that in Virginia Beach. Mm-hmm. Also, I don't know what it was called, but yeah, we did something like that before. And no, you're right. You can't drive fast. I mean, there's people everywhere. There's that, but also you just need to take time to soak it all in.
Yeah, what's the rush?
So much there.
Yeah, I mean, we're always in a rush. And, of course, don't forget, there is wildlife still in Newport News Park. There are deer that don't know a car from a car on the interstate as well.
Yeah.
All right. Hope you enjoyed that nice interview right there. And, of course, she's really involved with the One City Marathon, too. Really a big sporting event in Newport News that attracts people from all over the country. A great job by the city council and the city manager as well. Hope you enjoyed the interview with Doug Graber and Renee Popernack. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more Sports Scene after these messages.
Oh, yeah, this is the place where Washington Wizards basketball comes alive on the radio.
John Wall, edge of the circle, cuts to his right, splits the defenders, drives, 360 under the basket, makes and scores!
Follow John Wall, the Wizards, all season long on their journey through the NBA.
Catch and shoot for three, it's there! It's there!
Check it on Twitter at Dave J Sports or at GC Talks. It is the hashtag radio party right here on your home for Washington Wizards basketball.
Listen on 1650 AM, The Answer. People in Chesapeake and Hampton Roads have come to expect the finest Italian food at Spaghetti-Eddie's. In addition to great lunch and dinner served daily, this fine establishment caters to and can host your party. Call 484-7301 for their Taylor Road location and call 410-5500 for their restaurant in Greenbrier. For more, log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com.
Mi Hogar is your restaurant for the finest Mexican cuisine in Hampton Roads. At Mi Hogar, everything is prepared fresh in a casual atmosphere. Enjoy traditional favorites such as quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and fajitas, as well as refreshing beverages. Mi Hogar has 2 locations, 4201 Granby Street in Norfolk and 801 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Call ahead at 640-7705. At Mi Hogar, there is something for everyone.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
All right, back live right here on the radio, News Talk 1650, your 10,000-watt voice of Hampton Roads. Happy holidays to everyone. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us. Of course, I want to thank our first 2 guests, Doug Graber and Renee Popernack, as well. Also, Outback Steakhouse, Mike and the great staff at 1255 Fordham Drive in Virginia Beach, your holiday headquarters for lunch and dinner. Of course, great appetizers like bloom petals and shrimp. Of course, excellent steak, seafood, pasta, fish, salmon. Excellent desserts, too. Who doesn't love desserts during the holiday season? And, of course, they've got a great special. It's gift card season, as JD and I always talk about during this time. Give the gift of bloomin' great steak and receive a $10 bonus card with $50 purchase and gift cards at Outback Steakhouse exclusively at the Kempsville location, newly remodeled, your place to watch the NFL and sporting events at their great bar and great family dining restaurant. Outback Steakhouse, 'tis the season. Receive a free $10 bonus card, of course, as we mentioned, and receive with the purchase in $50 in gift cards as well when you do it right there at Outback Steakhouse in Virginia Beach. Excellent, excellent job. All right, holiday season, always events going on. Let's welcome back our good friend Gina Ippolito from Smithfield. Gina, happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays to you.
Did you have a nice Thanksgiving?
I did. I had kids home from college and, looking forward to Christmas. I've got one that lives in Oregon, so he's actually coming home for Christmas. So I'll have everybody home for Christmas. I'm really excited.
That's nice. Nice warm weather today, of course, and you had a very successful bacon event in October, of course. That was last month, and I guess you're looking ahead to your big event in January. Let's talk about your great event.
Yeah, we have January 14th. This will be our 4th year. It's the Smithfield Bob Fest, and Bob stands for Bloody Marys, oysters, barbecue, Brunswick stew. We have lots of B's in Smithfield, but yeah, it is rocking and rolling. We do it Martin Luther King Saturday, and it's all underneath heated tents. In fact, this year we have gone with a much bigger tent for the party tent. We had 18,000 square feet in the party tent last year, and we've bumped up to a 30,000 square foot tent this year. So we've got more tables for people to sit at. We put tickets on sale the middle of November, and the event is actually sold out. I mean, we had 2 different release dates. General admission tickets and the non-sponsor items sold out in seriously like less than 6 minutes each day. It's crazy. We do have a few sponsorships left. With this event, we also, in the morning, there is a 8K Chili Bob road race. So you can still come to the event. If you run the 8K, you can add in a couple of tickets, or there are a few hotel rooms still left in the town of Smithfield that you can book a hotel room and add a couple of tickets, or like I said, there is a small handful of some sponsorships that are left. So it's a great time.
Give us the date again and also the website, too.
The date is January 14th in 2017. The event is from noon to 4. VIPs and sponsors get to come in at 11. The website is smithfieldvaevents.com, and then click on, we do 3 events a year, so you have to click on the event you're interested in. So this one would be clicking on the Bob Fest logo. And you can sign up for the 8K there. You can see what's left, and it's a good time. The DeLoreans are the band. Our good friends over at Goodman and Sons Jewelers are the band sponsor this year, and the 8K race is sponsored by the O'Brien Law Firm and Kimberly Horn and Riverside Healthy Living right here in Smithfield. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah, I was talking to the young lady in the last segment, Renee Popernack from Newport News, about their One City Marathon and all the celebration lights. And these marathons are really added value to Smithfield and Newport News both, or whatever city as well. I know Virginia Beach does a lot of marathons, but they seem to attract young and old both.
Yeah, we do. We have quite a few athletic type events, whether they're 5Ks, 8Ks, half marathons, triathlons, on an annual basis that are here in Smithfield, at bike races, and they're very popular. And I was just looking at the stats on this 8K. We decided to do an 8K race. It's January, so not everybody runs when it's cold, but serious runners, run all year long. But I was really looking at this. Our demographics on who signed up for the race, 70% of them are over the age of 40.
Wow.
And of those 70% over the age of 40, 60% of those are women.
Nice.
So yeah, I was like, whoa, check that out. That was not what I was expecting, but yeah, this is a great morning. You come out here and you can do the 8K race, and then, like I said, you can roll over if you've got the party ticket into the party. If you don't live locally, the YMCA is nice enough to let you pop in between if you need to take a shower or something. A lot of the runners just roll right over to the event. It's not an issue for them. But yeah, the marathons and stuff. Newport News does a great job with that marathon. They do.
Yeah, you mentioned the Bob Fest. That's really a lot of fun for people that like seafood, isn't it?
It is. Oysters are there. That's the only seafood we have, and we've also got the barbecue and the Brunswick stew. So, we've been fortunate. The 3 years we've done this, we've had sunny weather. Temperatures have been anywhere between 40 and 60 degrees. So, you just never know what the weather is going to be like around here. But we're prepared for it to not be so nice. And like I said, it is underneath a heated tent, and it's a rocking good time. I mean, it's rolling here on Bob Fest afternoon in Smithfield. So,
yeah, we'll talk to you again at the end of next month. Look forward as it gets closer and closer to the event, and have a wonderful rest of the day. Always great to hear your voice, Gina.
Yes, and good to talk to you too. And if I don't talk to you before Christmas, have a great Merry Christmas.
Thank you. You're so sweet. I appreciate it. All right. Gina Ippolito right there from SmithfieldVAEvents.com. And really, Joe Daniel, as you know, we talked to the various guests from the communities which make this great area of Hampton Roads, whether it's marathons or holiday events. There's something for everyone.
Right. Yeah, like she said, if you're a runner, runners are always looking for things where they can run. And so having an 8K for something like that is perfect, and inclusive.
Yes. All right. Before we get to what teased me off, a local tradition is CP Shuckers. With locations on Shore Drive and Pacific Avenue, people love their prime rib, seafood, and much more. They showcase, of course, NHL, NBA, college basketball, of course, the NFL on Thursday, on Sunday, on Monday. Like both locations on Facebook and log on to cpshuckers.com. Eat or be eaten at CP Shuckers. Great place for holiday parties, great appetizers, burgers, seafood, pasta. Chef Leon at Shore Drive, and of course, as well as Chris, my good friend Chris over there, and Matt and Mark at of course, the ocean front as well. CP Shuckers, your place for good food, sports, and holiday parties. You don't want to miss it. Every meal is prepared exquisitely at CP Shuckers. Of course, again, the top 7 for the college football playoff, the big story of the day: Alabama number 1, Ohio State 2, Clemson 3, Washington 4, Michigan 5, Wisconsin 6, Penn State 7. Congratulations again to Old Dominion for playing in their bowl game on December 23rd at 1 o'clock on ESPN against Eastern Michigan in the Popeyes Bowl. Got to love some Popeyes, too. All right, let's get ready for What Teased Me Off.
What Tees You Off? Presented by GJBTV.com.
Oh, we have fun with this segment. when you see people that are adults, Joe Daniel, walking around with baggy pants and their pants are halfway down.
Oh, man. Anybody, that's wrong. But especially if you're over 40 and you have baggy pants.
And you can see the boxers.
I just laugh in your face.
And you can see the boxers, too. All right, to college girls, when you go to a grocery store, try not to wear pajama pants. And you're not 10 anymore.
Like sweatpants?
Just pajama pants.
Like the flannels or something like that. I can.
I guess. All right. Loud music at gas stations. Let's say you're pumping gas and you have your kid in the back seat, right? And all the cars are supposed to be cut off during that time because ignition, cell phones, fire. It doesn't work too well. And then you hear
gasoline and matches.
Then you hear a concert basically right next door to you.
Yeah. Oh, I hate it when people play like that super bassy where they just like are driving the bass or something like that. I really don't like that. But also just in regular like venues. Like if you're I was in a Verizon store the other day and they just had like this electronic music blasting out loud, and I'm trying to talk to the salesperson to let him know the kind of phone that I want, and it's just so hard to concentrate on the conversation when there's these electronic beats blasting in your face.
Yeah, go to a cell phone place in the morning. All right, how about this? Going to an appointment only to realize, JD, that several others have the same time frame as you do. Could be a medical appointment, that waiting in the lobby.
That's just bad scheduling.
How about these? You know how I feel about good morning, the word good morning, and phony morning television. I think morning television is the biggest wasteland in the world.
It's the bane of your existence.
Oh, God, I cannot stand morning television. How about those phony TV news bulletins like, we need another alert just to watch another bogus story that somebody had a donut. Who cares? We don't need an alert noise to catch your attention. Horns. I know they're essential, JD, when you're driving, but they can be awkward.
Car horns?
Yes.
I'm a heavy car horn user. Yeah, I'm a horn user.
Okay.
It's just it's the best form of communication. And I don't know. I heard a study where America uses the horn the least out of any country in the world. We just don't use horns. We just think it is rude, but it's a form of communication, like your blinker.
It's funny how you honk and certain people react different ways. Like, you're saying hello to somebody by the horn.
They think it's the worst thing in the world for you to honk, and I'm trying to tell you something.
Or it could be like a friendly pickup honk.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that. Movies that never end, especially when you're trying to fall asleep.
Yeah.
And putting you to sleep.
Like a 3-hour movie or something.
Oh, my goodness. It's like you think okay, it's going to end now, and then it just continues and continues.
Right.
All right. Franklin's school board resigning. I mean, the entire school board resigned. Where are the leaders at? All of you have to resign because everybody else wants to resign? I thought the school board were adults. Act like adults. Okay, commercials, JD. You and I talk about this all the time. These chimney commercials, enough. Really, I'm not going to mention any names at all.
Those chimney needs to be cleaned.
And this one narrator, will give proper credit when due. God said, man said. How about just be gentle? Go to this website and hear what the scripture says.
Yeah, God said. Yeah. You hate that commercial.
Yeah. And also this mentioned commercials, noises that sound like sirens on the radio that almost make you panic almost and feel like, is there an ambulance behind me or a police car behind me?
Freaks me out.
And you have to turn the radio down. It almost makes you like panic.
Yeah.
All right, I want to thank our great guest today as well. Doug Graber, the former head football coach at Rutgers, also an assistant with Tampa Bay and the Jets. Renee Popernack from the City of Newport News talking about Parks and Recreation, as well as Gina Ippolito from Smithfield as well, talking about their wonderful events in that wonderful town as well. Again, the top 7, Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, Washington, Michigan, Wisconsin, Penn State. Congratulations to Old Dominion's football team for going to a bowl game. Go to gjbtv.com, hit the YouTube link for archive shows, and of course Greg Bick on Twitter, GREGBIC. We'll talk to you soon.
Hampton Roads, AM 1650, WHKT Portsmouth. We are the answer.